We are here with Linda Thiel, the editor of Leech Mob. Hello, Linda. How you doing today?
Hello. How are you?
You did a phenomenal job editing Leech Mob, so we had some questions for you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I'm an English teacher, high school English teacher in Southern California.
Let's just wait for this plane to go over before we continue. Just keep it rolling there, Chris. So what got you into English?
Actually, my real interest was originally philosophy. And I wanted to teach at a high school, and they don't have too many philosophy classes. So I decided that English would be closest to it, most appropriate connection.
Great. So what are your favorite novels?
My favorite novel of all time is Grapes of Wrath. It's a beautiful American novel about the power of the human spirit. Again, I love another one by the same writer, Of Mice and Men. And also for many, many years I have enjoyed Gone with the Wind. And I think it's finally going to come to a time in history where people will be able to go back and see that novel and appreciate it.
Great. I know Steinbeck's an American author, right?
Yes.
And the author of Gone with the Wind is who?
Oh, let me see. Margaret Mitchell.
And is she also American?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. So as far as for younger readers, what books do you think are good for younger readers that feature like kids in high school or at a young age in the book?
Okay, well, we had discussed before The Outsiders.
The Outsiders?
Which is a classic. Obviously, I think that Leech Mob has a more modern character, more modern settings, and I would encourage teenagers to read Leech Mob. I think that you would enjoy the unique and humorous characters, wide variety of characters, very, very real, and it's a fast-moving novel.
So do they have any new books that are offered to high-interest readers in high school now?
I think, yes, they have a lot of high interest, but none that really stands in my mind as being terrific.
Right. Like Harry Potter's a big thing for younger readers, and
yes, I wouldn't call that a high interest.
No?
High interest usually suggest that it is for readers who probably are a little bit more reluctant to read.
But high interest means for reluctant readers or kids that are not really interested in reading.
Right.
So would you consider Leech Mob a high interest book?
Yes, in a way. It's certainly a high interest book. Some of the vocabulary might be a little challenging for reluctant readers. And hopefully in the next year or two we might get out a high interest version.
Which is always a shorter book. Leech Mob's kind of
shorter,
right.
And I think that it would appeal to a larger audience that way too.
Right. And to get that into the hands of students, we'll have to remove a few of the swear words in there, huh?
Yes, I would have loved to have done that with the first one. But we wanted to keep the...
I wanted to make it really high interest.
We wanted to keep the diction close to the character.
So you've mentioned before that you think that maybe Leech Mob should have had a lesson to teach, a message to teach, which is often kind of like an unspoken rule with a lot of authors is like, what are you trying to teach kids at the end of this and everything like that. And when there's a lesson that needs to be taught, what I've found is that oftentimes it kind of gets depressing. It's kind of like a fun book, and then the lesson is kind of like a depressing lesson. Like in The Outsiders, he tries to save a bunch of kids, and he winds up being caught in a fire, and he's in the hospital, and he just wants to die, and everything's depressing. And then in Rumblefish, the main character who's kind of like a guy who got out of the gang, is kind of like has his stuff together. When he seems to be a positive guy, he gets shot by the police. So it just seems like it gets too heavy. So do you think that possibly Leech Mob kind of has a unique ending in that it doesn't get too heavy, or doesn't necessarily has to have this real solid, definitive message at the end to teach kids, and is more kind of like an uplifting thing?
It's uplifting in a way, it is. But when I think about Leech Mob, I think of each chapter as almost being a freestanding story.
Right.
It's like a chapter in a person's, in Kelly's life. And each chapter he learns usually something pretty important.
Right.
So you could think of Leech Mob as a novel, and you could also think of it as almost a collection of stories.
Short stories,
Short
right.
stories, because each one is so self-contained. And it's told in flashback. So the main character, Kelly, is reflecting on everything that has happened to him in the last year or two.
Right.
So there's a lot that's packed in. So we could look at each chapter with having its own distinct theme.
Right. Let's just hold off for 1 second here. Excellent response, though. Thank you. Keep it rolling there, Chris.
So I think students, young people would really enjoy these characters. I know when I got finished editing it, I felt like I knew them all very well as real people, and I enjoyed that.
Yes, very lifelike characters in Leech Mob.
And we have the themes about bullying, friendship, gangs. They're not mean gangs. They are more like maybe misguided.
Yeah.
But they are high school students or young adults.
Great. So I want to take this time right now to talk about our website, www.leechmobnovel.com, and you can find a link to our blog page on there. And what we do at the blog webpage is that we try to ask questions that could do some reading comprehension stuff and talk about what the kids may have learned by reading the different chapters of Leech Mob concerning how the main character handled dealing with different gangs or different individuals and stuff throughout that. And so there's a lot of discussions on our blog page too. So I would recommend people check out our blog page. All right, well, we want to thank you so much for your time today, Mom. What should I say, Linda? So we want to thank you so much for your time today, Linda.
You're welcome.
All right, great.
Bye-bye.